Yo, peace, peace. What up, what up? StereoPHiX 888. I'm the SouthWst Shaman. Xander Olo Rapidemics. Your SouthWst StereoPHiX. I'm here to say much love and respect out there to everybody. This channel is all about recovery from traumas and addictions and ascension from the box that we live in. And we out here today in the highest of spirits because I'm overcoming some of the reflections, or how can I put it, reverberations of my addiction, which have trickled down in many forms. And for me, I'm going to address this to y'all right now. Again, my skin. It's such a crazy habit to have developed, but through the use of meth and opiates, you know, over time, somehow I adopted that addiction. I'm not really gonna explain it. I don't really want to explain something nonsensical too much right now because it's really not even gonna make sense. But just to give you all a little background, I do have a skin virus that breaks out through stress, and I did acquire a major staph infection in my face when I was incarcerated for 5 years. In which case that infection basically just sat and waited till I came out and exploded upon the use of meth, and I just became obsessive compulsive in the manner of, once I would have a wound, I would end up stuck on it. I wouldn't leave it alone. I would try to, and I would continuously go back. And that just developed over the years, and became something that was the norm for me, and that's so crazy to say. And I basically walked around like this for years. Crazy, right? And so I would never let it heal. I would always interrupt it. And that's just a perfect metaphor for life. I would never get out of my own way. I would never let my higher source, I would never just get out of the way and just let things work the way they're supposed to, the way that they're already set to work. Because, you know, there's an ego and then there's your soul. And I was definitely in the ego all the time, thinking I could like make it better by messing with it or something. I don't know. So it's just it's crazy for me to be at 38 years old, growing up finally and learning to let my skin scab when I have a wound. But hey, I was down in the trenches of addiction for like 20 years, man, till I finally changed my thinking. But it applies to so many aspects, right? It's not just that. I'm clean now, but I still have the obsessive moment of getting stuck on messing with my face, and the end result is something that's embarrassing, and it's uncomfortable, and I'm just tired of it. So, you know, I did a video about this yesterday, but I'm gonna say it again. Today, I pledge to never do this to myself again, because I understand now, and I'm giving myself the compassion that I need to say it's okay, but let's move on now. You know, awareness. It's like I was definitely aware of it, but I couldn't. Self-control is a lot, man. It's a lot. So this isn't easy for me. You know, this is difficult. And I just thought that if I addressed it on a video, that maybe and cemented it, you know, that would make it like I'm gonna stick to it now, yo. And it's not like, oh, I can't live without doing this for myself. It's something I hate. I just have to address it. And I'm just hoping that this finds somebody else that has this type of hang up, you know. Because your addiction it develops in all areas of your life. So, you know, for me, getting to the point that I'm at, it took me being proactive in discovery of information. Because could it be that the reason for your depressive state, as it was for me, was a lack of meaning for life? For me, that's what it was. Let me just say right now, I'm only sharing these things because this is my experience. This is what's working for me. I'm not telling anybody what to do. But please, like and subscribe for the journey, because this is a journey. And as y'all can see right now, I'm healing, I'm growing. So keep with me on this, and you will see as I grow and develop and heal, because it's a beautiful thing, and I just want to share this with anybody who's struggling to get started on this path of getting out of this whole like endless loop of self-destruction. You know, drugs are what they are, but drugs are not everything by any stretch of the imagination. You know, they're not meant to take over your whole life, man. You know, to understand it, we all emit a certain electromagnetic frequency, and that you establish these things, you establish that frequency through thoughts and emotions, mostly emotions, what you do every day, especially what you do by yourself, when you're by yourself, when you're alone. What I'm getting at here is, it's hard to change the frequency, but it turns out that there's actually over 230,000 healing frequencies for various dispositions, diseases, whatnot. You know, it makes sense, man. It makes sense. Because there's a polarity. In life, it's known as the polarity of the duality of things that we interact with each day, every day. Every day we interact with what we're perceiving to have two sides to everything on a coin, right? Like there's two sides to a coin, as in like life and death, or male and female, or I'm high, I'm sober. Well, let me just tell you right now, that's how we perceive, and that's how things are created and manifest, and things manifest upon themselves. But it's the illusion. They're all part of one. Everything is one, all for one and one for all. Because what's real is, it's this part. Being high and sober are different ends of the same thing. You feel me? So all things must exist. That all things exist at once. It's kind of a trip. It's kind of hard to like wrap your mind around that at first. But like, all right, I liken my situation to, I always exist in all my forms, in all forms of myself at all times. Which dimension of myself do I choose to step into? Because I was on this end of the pole, right, where everything was all chaotic, and I was just doing all these drugs and doing all this stuff, and like, but I feel like because I went that low in vibration, if I so choose, I can shoot to the other end, the completely opposite end of the pole. It's called transmutation. Alright, so because I exist, that me exists. All I have to do is step into it. This is all things, and this is nature. We are the micro of the macro. So anything, any processes or physicalities to us, you can bet you can discover them in the natural world. Simply, alright, for example, being awake and being asleep. They're just two ends of the same concept. Two ends of the pole on the same concept. Life and death. Awake and sleep. Alright? Sunrise, sunset. Sunrise, sunset. Awake, death. Awake, sleep. Awake, sleep. Awake, death. Sleep is the cousin of death. Nasty Nas. Hey, anyway. Now you see where I'm going with this? So, that always exists at all times. What do I choose? What do I choose? What end of the polarity do I choose to reside on? You know, I always felt like I could do whatever I wanted to do, and that's always been the thing that they've taught us, right? Well, on some real shit, think back to when you were a little kid. Do you recall using your imagination so vividly that you could see what you were imagining? Well, that's what some of these people out there are they want to like bottle that up or something, or like it's only a short time period where people do that. But see, the thing is, we still do that on the mental plane. And it comes down to the astral plane. The astral plane, where when you see something inside your mind, we take these things for granted, or we take these things so lightly. But when you see that in your head, if you picture an apple, a gun, a piece of paper, whatever, that exists. It exists. It's on a different plane, okay? But you can collapse it down into physical form if you want to. It just requires action. Now that's almost like a macro explanation of a micro explanation of the macro process, because we're manifesting all the time. People use that word all the time now. I think it's probably become more and more popular over the last few years, but it's like, I've always been manifesting. When I was using, how many days where I didn't know how I was going to come up on some shit to get high, I would think about it so much and feel so much in my body, like how much I wanted it, how much I would feel it, like getting it, imagine it, all that stuff. And something would happen, and I didn't realize it, but I was doing that shit. Eventually, I started to understand that I was doing that, and actually realize it and see it happening. Crazy enough, right? So, when we're always doing this, and we don't understand, and we don't see it, you just gotta look for the synchronicities and understand that pursuing your passion and doing what you love is communicating to the universe, and the processes that you can use are found in nature, because they're also within you. Bruce Lee said, "Be like water, my friends." How much? Whoa, we 80% water, and what can you do with water? You can program it on a molecular level. Water will record information on a molecular level. So, therefore, take some water. If you've got water that you're basically pumping love into versus water you're pumping fear into, it freezes different. What do you think happens inside you based on those emotional states? Because you emit frequency. There's something called a torus field that we emit. Your aura. You don't think it's going to be all fucked up if you're full of fear? There's an acronym for SMILE. The SMILE acronym is Start My Internal Love Engine. Start my internal love engine. Also, the PEACE acronym. Positive energy activates constant elevation. We deal with that. We deal with positive energy over here, yo. StereoPHiX 888, the SouthWst Shaman. Like and subscribe for the journey, because we're dealing with peace, positive energy. We're elevating. So, switching up my format a little bit, just to touch base on some yoga motion. Yoga always, you're gonna be doing breathing in all the way out to your nose, out your mouth, tongue to the roof of your mouth, pushing the breath down into your stomach. Okay, like this. All the breath out. Okay. I'm just going to talk about what you do with your hands, something you can do with your hands. Hands together, uniting both hemispheres of your brain. Just moving. Out. Out. Like that, okay? I do these things right out of bed. It's like my hack. Life hack, yo. Hands together, okay? When you're done with the motions and the stances, you need to meditate. Alright? Meditation hack. Focus on the breath. Scan the body, relaxing each body part. And even you know those guys that do the throat, I do that even, because it like focuses my mind. It does something, but it's also doing something with the breath. Breath is everything, man. Breath is all. Afterwards, you must drink water, okay? And when you're meditating, okay, there's different mudras, right? You can have your hands like this. Yeah, I do this. And I'm gonna look into it a little further, but I'm pretty sure this is indicative of like me releasing, because I've been on a, we cleanse and stay tuned, ride with me, ride the vibe. I am playing with y'all. StereoPHiX 888, the SouthWst Shaman. SouthWst. Peace.